Last year for April Fools, I gave my family Oreos, but I took out the filling and put toothpaste in it.
Oh my gosh, that's awful. How mean, Tyler. What did they say when they bit into it? Were they mad? Did they laugh? Oh, good. Okay. One time, that reminds me, one time my brother, do you know what cantaloupe is? The fruit cantaloupe? And it looks the same color as cheddar cheese, you know? And so my brother cut a chunk out of because it was cut in half, and then he cut a piece out, and then he cut a piece exactly the same and put cheddar cheese in there. Can you imagine? You're thinking you're eating cantaloupe and you get this cheese and my poor mom. Oh man, that's funny though.
Now I have a new idea.
Yes, now you have a new one. Yes. Don't blame me though, because then I'll get in trouble.
Where's the fun out of that?
Oh, yeah, right? I see where you're going with that, Tyler. You're like, Miss Cisneros gave me the idea. It's all her fault. Oh my goodness. All right, we're on page 85 today. And 85, we're talking about imposter ly adverbs. You guys already know this, so this will be pretty easy today. Ly adverbs obviously are the ones with ly, and they're telling more about the verb, and you guys are really good at using those in your writing. You've been doing that for a while now. But there are some imposters. We've mentioned this before, but there are some imposters. By the way, that word imposter means like someone who's pretending to be someone else. They're called an imposter. And if you've ever been to Hollywood before, I always think of that, Hollywood, or maybe even Las Vegas. But sometimes people walk around the street dressed as an actor, like Johnny Depp in as Jack Sparrow, and they act like Jack Sparrow. They look like Jack Sparrow. They have the same hair, same hat, same costume, same mannerisms and everything, but they're not really Jack Sparrow. They're not really Johnny Depp. So that's an imposter. Okay. But in writing, it's the same thing, but a word that looks like it could be an ly adverb, but it's not. At the bottom here is a list for you. You probably already saw that. Look at these words at the bottom of your page. They all end in ly, but they are not adjective, or they're not adverbs. They are adjectives. Okay. So chilly, friendly, ghastly, ghostly, holy, kingly, nightly, lonely, lovely, lowly, orderly, prickly, queenly, ugly, worldly, wrinkly. These are describing a thing or a person. Wrinkly, like great grandma is pretty wrinkly, right? It's describing her. It's not telling about a verb, which is what an adverb does. So they just want you to see the difference and to be aware of that. And the way you label it, well, let me back up right here. When an ly word, if it modifies a verb, an adjective, or an adverb, it will tell when, where, why, how, or to what extent. That is an adverb, okay? So you're going to mark it with an ly. You guys have already been doing that. The soldier thoughtfully shared his meal. That word shared is a verb. It's an action. And it's telling how he shared, thoughtfully shared. Okay, so that's how we know that is an ly adverb. Look at this example at the bottom here. The friendly soldier shared his meal. Well, we still have shared there, but we don't have it next to the word friendly. We have it, we have soldier next to the word friendly here. And soldier is a noun, it's a person, right? So the friendly soldier is telling an adjective here, describing the person, the soldier. So you have to look at where that ly word is in the sentence, if it's telling about the verb or the noun, because it could be an adjective. So they're going to try to trick you in this book. I'm warning you, okay? You're going to see an ly and go, oh, ly adverb, but you have to look at what word is right after it. What is it describing? It might be an adjective. That's an imposter. Okay. You're going to label it with ADJ for adjective if it is. All righty, let's go to the practice page. Let's see. Nisaya, could you read the sentence today? The sentences? Go ahead, Nisaya. Oh, there you go.
The king was weary.
Weary. Weary.
He called his daughter and told her that she must immediately return the stolen treasures.
There you go. Good. Okay, so that word weary is a word we don't use very often. It just means really, really, really tired. So today, Tyler and William and myself, maybe Nisaya, are weary, right? Just really tired or lacking strength or energy, okay? So go ahead and check vocabulary. We have articles here, so go ahead and write these in at the top, and then go ahead and find the two articles and label them. And
do we have to do the labeling at the top for the article?
yes,
No.
I know you do.
Gosh.
I know.
I have to do it so many weeks. I'm just gonna go ahead and do that.
Oh, you don't have to go back, but from now on, yeah, I do. I want you to make sure to, I don't know, just for a little while longer. Eventually we'll stop doing that, but that way it's so in your head that you don't even have to really think about it. So
it just seemed a little too easy. The articles.
Okay, so Camila is not coming in today. Okay, got a note from her mom. So we're just gonna keep recording. Nouns, Tyler. I need 3 nouns. Where are those at?
King.
King. Good.
Daughter.
Yes.
And her. Wait, no, her is a pronoun. Treasures.
Yes, good. That's it. Those are the 3. Good job. William, what about the pronouns? Wait, say it again.
He,
Okay,
her, he, her, and she.
He, her, and she. Good. That's awesome. Yep, that's it. And then Nisaya, what about the adjectives? Those are going to tell more about the nouns. So look at the nouns and then look before the nouns to find the adjectives. Well, some of them are after the nouns actually, so. Or one is.
Was?
No, that's going to be a linking verb. So look at the first sentence. Oh, go ahead.
His.
His is one. Good. Yes. It's telling whose daughter. That's one.
Must.
Not must. Look here at treasures. What kind of treasures were they?
Stolen.
There you go. So that's the way to find them is to look at the noun and go, what kind or which one? And this one in the first sentence is telling how the king was feeling.
Yeah.
That's the word, huh? It's weary.
Weary.
Weary. There you go. Good. Okay. Those are the 3 adjectives. How about William? I mean, back to Tyler. Sorry. Tyler, how about the ly adverb? That one's pretty easy.
Immediately.
There you go. And then how about the coordinating conjunction, William? Remember that one?
And.
And, good. That's fanboys, and A in fanboys is and. Good job. Nisaya, what about the that clause? Remember how to find that one?
The that next to she.
It starts with that, and then how far does it go? Where does it end?
Return?
No, actually all the way to the end. So
Oh,
all the way to treasures. That she must immediately return the stolen treasures. That's the whole clause. It's a big one. Okay, so we'll label it with that. Okay. And then the subject verb pairs, we're going to start with verbs. So Tyler, what about the verbs?
Must
Good.
return, or is that a
Yes.
subject?
No, that's a verb.
How much more do I need? One more?
There's quite a few. Let's see. There's 1, 2, there's 3 more.
Okay. Told,
Yes.
was,
Yes.
and called.
Yes. Good. And by the way, I guess you guys probably know this by now, but if it already has something on top of the word, that word is already labeled, so it's not going to be one of those. So as we go, notice we've got a lot of things labeled here. And that gives you a clue what's left, like all those verbs. So now pretty much everything has a label. Okay, so the only one that's double labeled is the subject. So William, where are the subjects? Who's doing these things?
He,
King is the subject here. Good.
he,
He, and there's one more.
daughter,
No. Look right here, William. Must immediately return. Who is it that must immediately return in that sentence?
she,
Say it again.
she,
Yes, there you go. You got it. So notice it says 3 subject verb pairs. That's telling you how many subjects. So we have 1, 2, 3 subjects, but notice we have like 5 verbs in here. So sometimes, actually a lot of times, there's more verbs than there are subjects, just so you know that, okay? But when it comes down to the subjects, it's going to always be that first number, so 3 subjects. That'll give you a little clue, okay? Capitals, Nisaya, where should we put the capitals?
T and the and H and he.
Good. And then Tyler, how about the end mark?
At the very end of treasures, I think it'd be outside the parenthesis thingy.
What am I putting there, though?
A period.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, the parentheses, you'll put it on the outside just because that's labeling. But if you have quotation marks, just remember the period goes on the
on the
inside. Yeah.
inside?
Yes.
That's
But
been tricky.
yeah, that's a tough one to remember. But
Because I'm writing like a paragraph for the class and I go to write quotation marks. I'm like, inside or outside?
always inside. I will tell you that. Always inside. Never on the outside. So that's a good rule of thumb to remember. All right, we're done with grammar. So let's put that away and get out your binders. You guys, we're working on a report on deserts this week. So you should have your paragraph about the Sahara Desert. And then we're going to talk about that a little bit. So get out everything from your front pocket about deserts. Let's see here. And I want you, let's look first at the checklist, just because, these checklists are really important. So I want to make sure that you guys know that. Let's see. Trying to find my, oh, I know what's going on here.
I had trouble with the topic clincher sentences, but I think I did it right.
Okay,
So if we
we're
have
gonna,
time, I'd like to go over that again because I was kind of puzzled with it.
absolutely. Sorry, I had to find my notes too, but I got them. Yes, I have that in my notes to go over that because I know that's kind of new to you guys. But let's just take a peek at this really quick and then we're gonna kind of break it down. And you're right, Tyler. So we have something new on our checklist now. If you look at the fourth box down, it does say topic clincher sentences, repeat or reflect 2 to 3 key words. And it does say to highlight or bold. Now, some of you type and some of you handwrite. So if you're typing, it's a feature on Google Docs or Word or whatever you're using to highlight. I know Tyler knows about that. And then if you're handwriting, you can use a real highlighter. I have one. I know I do. Oh, here it is. This, like this. It could be any color, but you can use this to highlight the words, or you can put a box around it. I don't want you to underline them though, because then that confuses me with the dress up words. Only the dress up words in your paragraph should be underlined, okay? So some students are still forgetting that part. We're going to come back to that, but look down here under dress ups because we also have a new one here, because clause. That one was not there before. And I want to just talk to you for a minute about the because clause. I like this one actually the best because to me, it's the easiest one to do. Basically, you're looking for a spot, a sentence in your paragraph that you can tell why something is the way it is. Okay. For example, when you're talking about the Sahara Desert, it is the largest desert in the world because it stretches all the way from across the continent of Africa, basically. Okay. So that's an example of where you can use because. It is the largest desert in the world because it stretches all the way across Africa. Or it is the hottest desert in the world because temperatures can reach over 120 degrees. That's another example. So to me, personally, this one's easy. So don't get scared by it, okay? Think of a place where you can explain why something is the way it is. Another example for Sahara, remember how we talked about how people live near the Nile River? Because there's water and people need water to live, right? So people live near the Nile River because there's water. There's another example. So just think of why something is the way it is. So now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So in your paragraph, if you have it with you right now, just check for me if you have 4 words underlined. And I see your hand, Tyler. Did you want to say something real quick?
How many dress ups do you think we'll have at the end of the year combined? Just curious.
There's a lot. I think we actually stop at 6. So it's not too much more actually. But there's other things like sentence openers that you're going to start adding to your list, and there's like 6 of those too. So this list gets longer and longer and longer as we go. That's why I'm drilling it in your head, because I don't know if you've noticed this yet about your writing. A lot of students tell me that they automatically start using these now, like especially LY words, because we've been doing it since the beginning. So when you're writing, hopefully that's coming almost like it's natural for you, because that's the point, right? Because eventually when you're done with my class, and maybe you don't take my class again or the next level or whatever, but you go on to another class, or you do writing for your home teacher for another subject like history, and you naturally use these dress up words. That's the point, to get it to where it's like natural for you, okay? I know, the list gets longer and the banned words gets longer. It's gonna be okay, Tyler, I promise. Okay.
It took me quite a while yesterday because I used like 5 of those banned words.
Oh no.
So I was trying to think of other words that I could use.
Yeah. Well, writing a creative story, like when you guys did the Little Red Hen, that is hard with the banned words. But hopefully writing about the deserts is not too bad because you're not really having dialogue in there and, it's more facts. So hopefully this gets easier for you. I always like writing reports. I love writing reports, actually. I know that sounds weird, but I would much rather write a report about something than to write a creative story with characters talking and scenarios and, like problems and solutions and all the stuff that we did. But it's a preference, whatever you guys like. We're going to come back to creative writing eventually. I think you guys will like it. So anyway, but here we got our checklist. Now let's talk about the topic clincher for a second. I know we reviewed it a little bit last week, but I want to review it again. I had a student say, hey, Mrs. Cisneros, when you say topic sentence, it reminds me it's the top sentence. And I'm like, all these years, I never thought of it that way. The top sentence is the topic, okay? So that's why when we hold our hand up like this, I'm talking about that very first sentence in your paragraph. And then when I say clincher and I go like this and I lower it down, this is the last sentence of the paragraph, okay? So the topic sentence and the clincher sentence must, you guys remember, repeat or reflect 2 or 3 key words. Okay, nobody did it with me, so we're going to do it together. Okay, so everybody put your hand up. I know it's your favorite thing to do. Go like this and say the topic sentence and the clincher sentence must repeat or reflect 2 or 3 key words. Now, when I'm doing it, I'm actually using my right hand. So if you're right-handed, it'll look like this in the camera. You can do either right or left. It doesn't matter, whatever makes sense to you with the hand motions, okay? So let's do it at the same time this time. Okay, so ready, go. The topic sentence and the clincher sentence must repeat or reflect 2 or 3 key words. Okay, let's go faster. Ready, go. The topic sentence and the clincher sentence must repeat or reflect 2 or 3 key words. All right, you guys are getting it. And it's in your checklist, so you can always look there for the rule. Now, who can tell me what does the word repeat mean? When I say repeat, what does that mean, Tyler?
Repeating sentences. I, the.
Okay, so you're repeating words, not sentences.
Okay, so
Yeah. So
the chick repeated 10 times.
okay, but okay, you're exaggerating just slightly, but when you repeat, it's the same word, basically. Okay, you don't want to say the. Okay, you want to just pick one. By the way, it's a key word too. So I is not a key word and the is not a key word, but Sahara.
Yeah, but those were
That
just
would
the
be a
words
keyword.
that came out of my mind.
Okay, I get what you're saying. But Sahara would be a good word to repeat in the first sentence and the last sentence. And I'm going to show you an example of that. Who can tell me what the word reflect means? If I'm reflecting a word, what does that mean, William?
Uh,
Oh, there you go.
to use a adjective that can describe the subject, but in a different word.
You're super close. It doesn't have to be just an adjective, but you're right. It's a different word It could be an adjective, but it doesn't have to be, okay? But it's a different word, but means almost the same thing. I think that's what you were trying to say, William. So like hot, and you're right, hot is an adjective. Hot and blazing, those are two totally different words, but they mean about the same thing. So it's like that, okay? Or children and kids. Okay, they mean the same thing. Children and kids are the same thing, but different words. That's reflect. So you're going to pick words that either repeat or reflect, but it has to be at least 2 or 3, not 1, not 4. It's got to be 2 or 3 key words. Okay, so last time we talked about these examples. I'm going to just show you again from last time here. Okay. I think I did this for you guys. Do you remember seeing this? Yeah, no, maybe it's been a while. Okay. So, but here I'll show you this. Maybe you didn't see this, but what I did was I pretended like I wrote my paragraph. Obviously there's scribbles here. And that's just for the sake of time. I did it really quick for another class, but you're going to pretend these are all sentences. Okay. And what I did was take my keyword outline that we did together about the Sahara Desert, and I wrote my sentences, my first sentence and my last sentence. So look at my first sentence here. There are many deserts, but the Sahara Desert is the hottest and largest in the world. That's my first sentence. When I finished my whole paragraph, blah, 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 I got down to the end. I wrote my last sentence and I put other animals that live in the blazing Sahara Desert are the white gazelle and the screwhorn antelope. Notice I added these words blazing and desert because my original sentence only had Sahara. But notice how I did 2 things. I highlighted and I put a box around it. But notice I have Sahara in my first sentence and I have Sahara in my last sentence. This is one paragraph. And then I have desert. By the way, repeat, right? Sahara, Sahara, that's repeating. Desert, desert, that's repeating. I could have stopped there because the rule says 2 or 3. But I kind of wanted to, show you 3. So then I picked hottest. And then I came up with the word, or one of my students came up with the word blazing. So now I have 3 words, but this one reflects. It's not the same word. It's almost the same. It means almost the same thing. So they're reflecting. So now this is what your paragraph should look like when you include your topic clinchers. Does that make sense, Tyler? How about Nasiah, William? Does that make sense to you guys? Okay, good. So this is now something that's going to be on your checklist forever and ever. Amen. Sorry, not sorry. So you have to do this every time now when you write your paragraphs. Repeat or reflect 2 to 3 key words. And the reason for this is because it gives your writing more style. That's what this class is all about. You guys are all great writers already, but this is actually giving you more style to your writing.
So
Okay.
for the 2 or 3 keywords, we can't use less than 2 and we can't use more than 3.
Yes, that is correct. You have to use either 2 or 3.
So not even 2.5.
Smarty pants. There's no such thing as half a word. Nice try. So here I've got 3. And that's how you're going to label it. If you type, though, like I told you, there's a function on your computer where you can highlight or bold. Bold just means making it darker. Okay. Don't underline them, though, because I only want to see dress ups underlined. All right. Any questions about this topic clincher? Okay, good. So I'm going to be looking for those now on your pages, on your homework. Okay, so this should be your outline. Get this out and make sure that you have Roman numeral 2 here and 1 through 6. Now, this is going to be for the next desert you're going to write about because your report is on deserts and we have 2 different deserts we're looking at. go ahead and put right next to Roman numeral 2 the word topic, just to remind you that you are doing topic clincher. And then down here by number 6, let's put clincher. Topics at the top, clinchers at the bottom for each paragraph, not for the whole report, just each paragraph has a topic clincher. Now, the next desert you're going to read about is called the Gobi Desert. Totally different desert than the Sahara. That is going to be on page 75. But on your outline, I want you to go ahead and write it in because that's your topic. That's your next desert we're going to write about. And then for whatever reason, lucky me, I lost my article on deserts. I don't know what happened to it. So I have this on my book and it says here, not for duplication, but just ignore that. But here it is. At least I have something to read with you. So yours is on page 75, the Gobi Desert. Now remember, as I read this, your job is to use your pen or your pencil and find the facts or information that you think is important or relevant or interesting. That's the most important one, right? Important information could be things like where the Gobi Desert is located. That's kind of boring, but yet it's important because we need to know where in the world it is. Remember, the Sahara Desert was in Africa, so this desert is somewhere else. And then look for interesting things like things that you didn't know or things that you're like, what? That's crazy, or whatever. Just underline with your pencil or pen either whole sentences or just parts of sentences that has facts about the Gobi Desert. Okay, so here we go. A desert is an area where little rain or snowfall occurs, so conditions are hostile to life. Certainly, this definition fits the Gobi Desert. A cold desert. The Gobi stretches across southern Mongolia and northern China. So we're in a different continent now, but it's a cold desert. And normally we think of deserts as hot. This one's cold. Because the towering Himalaya mountains block clouds from bringing rain to the Gobi, less than 10 inches or 25 centimeters of moisture fall there per year. The Gobi's features are unique. Within the region are Mongolia's spectacular flaming cliffs, called so because they appear reddish. There, the first known fossilized dinosaur eggs were found. Other fossils include the claws of a velociraptor, Mongoliensis, I think is how you say that, and a complete Protoceratops skeleton. Now, does anybody in this class know about dinosaurs? Have you ever studied those before? Kinda. Have you studied dinosaurs? Yeah, kinda. So you probably recognize Velociraptor. That's one of the, that's that one with the big, I think it's the one with the big claw. He's like, if you've ever seen Jurassic Park. You guys seen that movie before? Yes, no, yeah. So anyway, kind of cool. Dinosaurs were real. They are extinct now, so we don't see them anymore, but we find bones. I mean, you know, people are finding bones. So these dinosaur bones or fossils are found in the Gobi Desert. There you go. Okay, I'm going to keep going. On another day, one might hear the sand sing. Yes, you read that right. Sand sing. Ongori, I think is how you pronounce that. Ongori Els meaning singing sands. is a site where conditions allow the wind to buffet the sands and produce an eerie roaring note. So I'm going to pause there for a second. I'm thinking, I live in an older house. And so when it gets really windy up here in Tehachapi, it really howls. Like it makes noise through the windows and the door. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that before, where it's like, it's like this sound. I think it's something similar, but I've never been there, so I don't know. But it's caused by the wind. And you can imagine, like if you've ever seen the movie Aladdin, that type of a desert where there's just like sand everywhere and there's wind. It's always windy, right? And it's blowing over the top of the sand. Somehow that creates a sound, and it almost sounds like singing. And that word eerie means like spooky. So I'm sure it's kind of a weird, spooky sound, but kind of cool at the same time, because I'd like to hear it. Anyway, animals of the Gobi are rugged. That just means like tough. Musk oxen, rodents called jerboas, Mongolian donkeys, wolves, and the rarely sighted snow leopard survive in that harsh climate. The critically endangered wild Bactrian camel. Hey, we know about the wild Bactrian. You guys remember that one? Yeah, okay. Is a particularly adaptive animal. It can live and reproduce in radioactive hot zones, tolerate extremes of temperature, and even drink salt water. And I think that's it. I don't think there's anything on the back. No, okay. So good. Did you guys get a chance to underline some things in there? Good. Good job. All right, then. Let's get back to our outline. The goal today is to finish your outline so that you can finish your report this week for your homework. So we've got the Gobi Desert. Now, remember when we talked about the Sahara Desert, we put that it was the world's largest and hottest. We have flames here. But the Gobi Desert's different. It's not the largest and it's not the hottest. But it does say that it's a cold desert. It doesn't say coldest, so we can't say that, but it is cold. So I think that would be a good word to put here, that it's cold, because that is unique. Normally we think hot. And it does mention that the little rain or snowfall occurs. That's really what defines a desert, when there's hardly any rain at all or snowfall. So I'm going to actually add a cloud here with some rain coming down. And then I'm going to circle it and draw a line through it. Not a whole lot of rain. So whatever symbol you want to use for that, doesn't have to be exactly like mine, but there's not a whole lot of rainfall that happens there. So we'll just kind of draw a little picture for that. Okay, and then at the beginning of this article, it does mention something important that we should tell about the Gobi Desert. Who can tell me, what do you think, William? What should we put that's important information?
The Gobi Desert stretches across the southern Mongolia and northern China.
Yes, good. Southern Mongolia and northern China. Did you have something to say, Tyler?
I was gonna point out that it says that conditions are hostile to life.
Yes, they are. Okay, that's a good one too. So let's put, I wanted to show you really quick before we write this, because I wanted to show you the map of where this is, because we know where the Sahara is. So I would just want to share this so you can kind of get a visual. And this map is pretty simple. There's not a lot labeled on here, but you can see colors. And remember, this is the Sahara Desert. It actually goes like all the way to this chunk right here even. Okay, so that's remember how we said it was way bigger than even the United States, the whole United States. So here's Asia. And over here in this area is the Gobi Desert, smaller. Okay, it's right here over in Asia. Technically, Asia is a separate continent than Africa, even though it looks like you probably could get there by land. But let me see. See if I can zoom in a little bit. Yeah. So it's over here though. It's a separate continent right here in Asia where the Gobi Desert is. Okay, I just wanted to show that to you. And it's a little bit further north. So that's why it's a little bit, well, it's a lot colder there than the Sahara. Because remember, the Sahara is like hot, 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 hot. Okay. Now, I do like that, William. I think we should put stretches, if I can spell this right. Where is it? Yes. Stretches has a TCHES. And then we're going to put Southern Mongolian and Northern China. So I'm going to put S Mongolian, Mongolia. And then I'm going to put N China. S and N are going to stand for South and North. By the way, anytime you write your outline and you go to write your paragraph and you forget what these things mean, you can always go back and look at the original. Okay, so that's okay to do. And then, you know, Tyler did point out that it's hostile. It's like a hostile, the conditions are hostile to life. And I do think that's kind of interesting, but we kind of mentioned that up here. I don't think we use the word hostile, but we can kind of tell that it's difficult to live there. So I don't know. I'm going to hold off on that one.
Yeah, but it's kind of a different. It's kind of a different continent,
Yeah.
and it's a whole different desert.
Yeah. So here's what we can do, Tyler. If you want to add that, go ahead and put that in, or if anybody wants to add that. I just want to make sure we have room to include the cool stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's
Well,
what's hard.
If I have room at the end, then I'll add it.
Okay. Okay.
Otherwise, I'll just add a southern sentence.
There you go. Good plan. I like it because we
off
got
to the side.
we've got things that are cool, like about the dinosaurs and stuff. We don't want to leave that out. And then we got, you know, the animals to mention. So it's kind of like, it's hard to know. It's hard to pick and choose, but okay. So I'm going to keep going. What else what do you have underlined, Nisaya, toward the top of the article that you thought was interesting or important that we should include? What do you have?
Mountains block clouds from bringing rain to the Gobi. Less than 10 inches of moisture fall there per year.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too about the mountains.
Mhm.
And we already got about the rain, so I don't think we need to mention that, but it is interesting that the Himalaya mountains block the clouds. And so maybe that would be good to mention here. So let's just put Himalaya. This is important information. And then we can draw mountains like that. Block clouds. I mean, you can either draw a cloud or we can just write the word clouds. And if you have a different way of putting that on your outline, that's okay with me, however you want to put it. Okay, and then back to William, in that middle paragraph, what did you underline in that middle paragraph that you thought was interesting? Are you there, William? I think you must be having trouble here. What happened, William? Okay, well, we'll come back to you as soon as I see you. So Tyler, tell me what you have in the middle paragraph underlined as interesting.
The first known fossilized dinosaur eggs were founded.
I like that.
Found.
Yeah, I like that too. I think that's really cool and interesting. So maybe we could do like first known is a hyphenated word, so we get to count that as one. So we could put first dash known. And then fossilized, that just means like it's preserved, right? Like almost like a rock. And then dinosaur. And then I'm just going to draw an egg. First known fossilized dinosaur eggs. That's so cool. Can you imagine finding a dinosaur egg? So I doubt that anything's inside of it anymore. But just to actually see the egg itself, I'm sure they're huge, you know.
It could sell on eBay for thousands of dollars.
Yes, maybe even $1 million. I don't even know because they're so rare, you know. But I don't think people sell them. They probably lock them up in a museum somewhere, you know. Okay, William, did you underline anything else that you thought was interesting in that middle paragraph?
On another day, one might hear the same sing, or
The singing sands.
yes.
Okay. That's really cool. So you could, maybe some of you have about the claws of the velociraptor. If you like to add that to your report, you can. Okay. So I'm going to leave that up to you, but I'm going to go with what William is saying about the singing sands. How do you think we could put that in our outline, William? What are the 3 keywords we can put for that part? It's a lot of information. It's hard to condense into 3 words, but what do you think?
I don't.
You don't really know? That's okay. We're talking about the singing sands. So maybe we could just make it really simple and just say wind and sand and sings or singing or sing, you know, however you, by the way, I'm just going to remind you again with the keyword outline, you don't have to use the exact same words you put in your outline, but try. But if you wanted to change that to singing or something like when the wind blows, it makes the sand sing. You could say that and not have sings. Get what I mean? Like you can change the form of the word. Or you could say something here like, some people say the sand sounds like it's singing because the wind blows across it or something like that. That's a good spot for because. It's telling why the sand sounds like it's singing. So you get what I mean. You can mix these up. This is just your notes to help you remember what this article is about. All right. How about moving down to the last paragraph? It's kind of interesting because we're talking about some animals down there, a bunch of different ones. So my suggestion here would be to pick 3 animals you want to list for number 5. There's a bunch of different ones there. And you can list 3. And then if you want to list more, you can use number 6 if you like talking about the animals that live there. So Nisaya, what are 3 animals that you want to include in your report from like which ones live in the Gobi Desert?
The Mongolian donkeys,
Yes, I would definitely talk about the donkeys.
the rare snow leopard,
Okay.
and the musky oxen.
Yeah, okay. So I think that sounds good. I'm gonna put MON for Mongolian so we can put donkeys, so Mon donkeys. And then I'm gonna put for snow, I'm gonna do like a snowflake, like that kind of. Snow leopard. And then you said musk oxen. I'm just gonna put oxen here. And then, like I said, if you like the idea of mentioning these animals, you can do number 6. Remember, we put it in parentheses because it is optional. You don't have to have a number 6, but you can if you have more to say. Like Tyler earlier was mentioning, he thought it was interesting about the hostile environment or hostile to life. So you can definitely add that at the end. That's a really good idea, actually, Tyler, because then you can tie in for your topic clincher about the Gobi Desert.
So I can put that for the 6th sentence for my topic clincher.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So it's okay to mix up information like that, because I know they mentioned it at the beginning in the article, but you can mention it at the end of your report. You get to mix these up. Sometimes I like to go in the same order because usually, you know, it's a logical order, but that's one of those facts that you can put anywhere in your paragraph. So I like that idea. So I'm going to put it on mine too. If you guys want to do that, I think that's a great idea. So what did you put there, Tyler, on number 6?
I haven't yet. I'm looking
Okay.
back at the paper.
Yeah, so it's at the beginning.
I think I'm gonna put conditions hostile life.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Let's do it. Conditions, hostile, and life. And here's a thought, you guys, so that you can get this in your head when you go to write. Because this is new to you about the topic clincher, you could easily use Gobi Desert as 2 words that you're going to repeat. Okay, so you could say in the first sentence, the Gobi Desert is a cold desert and does not receive much rain or something like that, or it doesn't rain very often in here or something, you know, about that. And then down here say the conditions in the Gobi Desert are hostile to life. And you can count Gobi Desert as your topic clincher because you can mention it again in the bottom sentence, in the clincher sentence. So make it easy on yourself. You don't have to get super crazy with the topic clincher. Okay, whatever you're talking about, you can just repeat at the end. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay, good. Okay, so we got our outline ready to go. And we talked about the because clause. We talked about the topic clincher. Oh, another thing I want to remind you is the title. So lucky for you, this report is only 2 paragraphs. Did you guys notice that under your dress ups right here? You just have paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. We're not doing 3 this time. So when you're done writing about the Gobi Desert, by the way, you're going to put this paragraph right under your paragraph about the Sahara Desert because it's all one report. Okay, you're writing 2 paragraphs, the Sahara and the Gobi. Those are your 2 paragraphs about your report. So now, when you get to the end of your second paragraph about the Gobi, you're going to keep in mind a new title. Now, I recommend, now the title rule, let's check that really quick. It's on here. The 3rd box down. Title centered and repeats 1 to 3. keywords from the final sentence. So you only need one or two or three, but one will suffice. So if you use the word desert, guess what? You can use that word desert in your title, but I would add to it like extreme deserts in the world, something like that. That would be a good title because one's extremely hot and one's extremely cold, right? So you've got extreme deserts in the world, or life is difficult in the desert. You could say that. By the way, if you say that, you have life and desert.
Life is difficult anyway.
It is difficult anyway, but it's even more difficult in the desert. I mean, technically, if you're in Ridgecrest or Bakersfield, you're in the desert. Not this kind of desert as far as it being hostile, totally. I mean, it does get hot, but you know, deserts are the opposite of like tropical places like Hawaii or the Philippines.
You could think of it as more of the Sahara Desert instead of the Gobi.
I think so too. But either way, there's not much rain, right? We don't get much rain. It's kind of a bummer because I love the rain. I think I get more because I'm in Tehachapi. So we get a little bit more up here, I think, because we're in the mountains. But
I like when you go outside and it's raining and you get that Californian smell of the rain.
yes, I love that too. It's the best. It's so like fresh and then everything's really clean and yeah, I love it too. So I heard that we're going to get rain this weekend though. So that'll be nice. We need it. Okay. So title, don't forget to do that when you're done with your second paragraph. And then of course your dress ups, ly adverb, who, which clause. Now let's talk about that for a second. The who, which clause, you're not going to have any people really in this paragraph about the Gobi Desert. So you probably will use which. If you're talking about the animals or you're talking about the mountains, which the Himalayan mountains, which are in China, block the clouds, something like that. So if you're talking about a thing, you're going to use which, not who. That's only for people. We don't really have people in this. So focus on that. Your strong verb, let's see, we might even have some in here. Well, sings, that's a strong verb. That's very descriptive. That's telling, like, it's making a note, right? Stretches, that's a good strong word. So you've got some strong verbs in here already in your outline. So that one should be pretty easy. And then, like I said, the because clause is just telling why something is the way it is. If you're talking about, you know, how there's not much rain, you can put these two together where you're talking about it's cold and there's not a lot of rain. And then right after that, you can say the Himalayan mountains block the clouds. That's telling why there's not a lot of rain, right? So you could actually move this up here. The Gobi Desert is cold and there's not a lot of rain because the Himalayan mountains block the clouds. There you go. Because is pretty easy. I think you guys will be fine with that one. I'm not too worried about the banned words either because you don't really have characters doing stuff. So, all right, you guys. So you're going to write paragraph number 2 about the Gobi Desert and then your grammar. Does anybody have any questions about the homework? No questions about the homework? Sometimes I forget to check this chat. So, it's okay.
Do we need to highlight again?
Yes. So you're going to highlight or bold your topic clincher. Yes, you have to do that again. Okay. Just like we practiced with, well, this one that I showed you. So if you didn't do it yet for your Sahara, make sure you fix that. Okay. Fix your topic clincher in your Sahara, but you also need to have it in your Gobi paragraph. Good question. Anybody else? All right. We're done for today. Good job, you guys.
Bye.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for the April Fool's idea.
You're welcome anytime.